All right, we're back with the Friday forecast. John Samuel Shenker, Justin Hokanson, AuburnSports.com. What's up, dude?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good, man. One more. Well, I mean, we still got 3 more home games. That's kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Because it feels like we're at the end of the season, which we sort of are, but 3 of the last
November.
4 are at home. Lot to talk about. Auburn, Kentucky. We'll get some quick thoughts on Auburn-Arkansas since I don't talk to you after that game. So we'll do that real quick, get some thoughts on that. And then we'll talk Auburn, Kentucky, which is another interesting one. We'll get into all of that. We appreciate everybody joining us. Real quick, let me give a shout out to our couple of sponsors of the show, because that's how we do the show, guys. We got to have advertisers. We have sponsors. Otherwise, we can't do the show. So just give me 2 minutes. Sorry, I'm getting some to drink. I'm dying, dude. GameTime.co. Great sponsor of the show. Go check out GameTime.co. Download the app for college football tickets and any other events you can possibly imagine. They've got college football tickets, I think, as low as $25. Maybe it depends on what game you go to. But you can find them pretty cheap on GameTime.co. All the fees are included, so you see what the price is up front. You're not surprised by anything when you get to the total, which is nice. They've got 110% guarantee, so if you find tickets elsewhere that you can get on GameTime.co, if it's the same seat, same ticket, you buy it on GameTime, and then you're like, wait a minute, you can go get a refund. They'll match it. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. So if you're coming to the Auburn-Kentucky game, it's a 6:30 game. You got all day to look for tickets. I'd have to think you got a chance to get some pretty good tickets if you come down and wait. I mean,
Yeah.
Auburn won. I would think it's going to be a really good crowd. But I could see some people, colder weather, maybe in the upper deck. I could see some people not going. So I would think you could probably, maybe even the lower level, I could see some decently priced tickets for this one. So go to GameTime.co, use the promo code ON3, and you get $20 off your first purchase. So the first time you ever do it, use the promo code ON3, and you get $20 off. So we really appreciate GameTime.co. And then special shout out to Iron Tribe Auburn, where we always do the show on location, Iron Tribe Auburn. I'll give you a couple things that they got going on, and then we'll talk Auburn, Kentucky. If you like golf, Better Golf Fitness Workshop, November 15th. I keep shouting that out. Blaine Barber, who played at Auburn, is going to be doing a workshop here. So come check that out. It'll be, I think it'd be really cool. Better Golf Fitness Workshop, November 15th. They have a youth fitness for all ages, for ages 8 to 18. Youth fitness, ages 8 to 18. Contact them if you have a kid that you want to kind of get in here, and you can kind of do a little bit of personal training, sort of. I mean, it's groups, but it's close enough that I think you'll get a lot of benefit. Women's Health, Fitness, and Nutrition Seminar coming January 2026. So make sure and check that out. And then for any Auburn Sports listener, you get a free week. Come in here. What do you have to lose? Come in here. Say, I heard about you through Auburn Sports. You will get a free week. Contact Derek. Derek's the owner, or Austin Boone, the main coach. So just come in here. Say you heard about it through Auburn Sports, and you get a free week, man. That's pretty good. It's a lot of good workouts. You can come check it out, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, but I think you will. All right, let's talk Auburn, Kentucky. Actually, let's talk Auburn, Arkansas real quick. Kind of went about how I thought. I thought 2 turnovers. I thought Auburn would get a couple turnovers and run the ball. They got 4 turnovers and ran the ball. The pick 6 obviously added to the total a little bit. A little dicey in the first half. 21-10. You're thinking, how is this possible? What is going on? Even Hugh Freeze talked about it. Kind of an interesting quote, by the way, from Hugh Freeze on Monday. He said in the staff meeting, he said to the coaching staff, how many of y'all were like, here we go again? I thought that was interesting. Have you ever, it was kind of a revealing, it was an honest statement, but I'd be like, man, I would probably just avoid kind of that talk. Like the Monday after, I would just be like, we did it. Let's fire it up. Let's go get another one. It was kind of weird. He was like, I asked the coaches, like, how many of y'all were thinking, here we go again? And he was kind of like, everybody was pretty honest, yeah, some of them were thinking it. But anyway, I'm sure some of the coaches were thinking it, but they rallied. They played well in the second half and got a win they just absolutely had to have. Rush defense was great again. Ashton came in and did his job, did what he was supposed to do. What were your just sort of any big takeaways from that game?
McPherson was encouraging. Obviously, his story now is blowing up, but his rebound from last week to this week, especially as a kicker, that's a lonely world there at times when you're missing kicks and things like that. You have no one to go to or anything like that. It's just you. I thought Ashton he did his job. I didn't think he did anything special. He didn't obviously some of those drives, we had a lot of field goals, so some of those drives you like to make it go a little farther. But, points are points. And in the second half, we hadn't had any. It was kind of a flip of what's happened. We started off slow, and halftime, it looked pretty rough. But the second half, we just kept chopping wood and just kept scoring points any way we could, whether it was 6 or 3. But a win's a win. We said we just want the guys to get a win, get that feeling on a road. Regardless of who it is, it's still hard to win on the road in the SEC. So I think it was a big boost, especially coming back and give fans a little bit more to cheer for and be more encouraged. But talking about having, does this feel like this is happening again with Freeze? I don't think I would have said that. I would have probably steered away, or that shouldn't be your mindset. Every game is a life of its own. And if that's how you're thinking, I'm glad the team responded well, because if that's how you're thinking, that could be a dangerous road.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a window into what he was thinking, and I get it. Like, they've had enough close games, and maybe you're like, what the heck? But it was just kind of a funny comment. It was an interesting game. I think we'll know more Saturday. I feel like the Arkansas game, there was a bunch of stuff you could point to if it's a turning point. If Auburn goes and beats Kentucky, and then let's say they go and upset Vanderbilt, which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
You'll look back and go, McPherson's school record 6 field goals. Xavier Atkins was phenomenal. Cobb had a career high. You had a bunch of stuff in that game where, think about it. You had the best game Jeremiah Cobb's ever played, the best game Alex McPherson's ever played, the best game Xavier Atkins has ever played. You had 3 dudes who had career games, and then Ashton Daniels gets in the game as well. But it's a pretty interesting game where it's pretty rare where you have that, where you might have one guy that goes for a career high, but have 3 different guys basically have career games so far, and you come back. There's a lot of positives that could roll from that. All right, so they beat Arkansas. You got to win that. They do, but not all great. 6 trips in the red zone, no touchdowns.
Right.
They didn't score an offensive touchdown in the second half against the worst defense in the league. That's not great.
Right.
The red zone offense, I wrote about it on Sunday. The red zone offense is horrific. It's 126 nationally. It was 122nd nationally last year. It's very bad. In the last 20 SEC games, so the 8 last year and the 5 so far this year. No, 13. That'd be 13. I'm sorry. In the last 13 SEC games, they've been in the red zone 43 times. They've scored 14 touchdowns.
Wow.
So you're talking about almost 30 different instances that they've gotten in the red zone in SEC play and not scored a touchdown.
Wow.
That's how you lose games. That's how you lose close games. So that's kind of my negative takeaway from that game. That leads us into Auburn, Kentucky. Kentucky's winless.
Yeah.
Sort of similar, right? Pretty talented offense. Put some points, played Texas competitive. I think their freshman quarterback, threw 5 touchdowns against Tennessee. So there's some ability. Seth McGowan, good running back. So they got some ability on offense, but their defense is lacking. Tennessee scored 50-something, whatever. So similar to Arkansas, where there's some offensive ability, but the defense is not great. That should bode well for Auburn, because Auburn's defense is the strong point and their offense is the weak point. It should set up again for Auburn. Didn't take advantage in Fayetteville, and it almost cost them. They come home. We'll see if they take advantage of this one. What stands out going into this game? What's the first thing are we thinking? Is it the quarterback thing that's top of mind? What are you thinking about right now, a couple days out?
Well, and I'm sure the guys in the building know more than we do probably, but the quarterback, if I'm an offensive player and I don't know the quarterback, it's really hard to have that kind of chemistry throughout the week. And maybe they know, they just haven't announced, but if it's up in the air, especially receivers and tight ends, even running backs with the exchange, that can be kind of an interesting situation, because you don't really know who to go to in the huddle. You don't know who to lean on. And then the day before the game, they say, oh, he's the starter. Okay, well, now let's lean on him. So I think that can be a tough situation at times. And last year, you can't go back and forth. I'd rather see you just pick one. Is it Daniels? All right, go with him the whole way. And if something crazy happens, after a couple of games, if he's just really not it, then okay, maybe you think about going back to Jackson, or you say, I think that woke up Jackson, that gave him a little bit more attitude, so to speak, of playing, and get him to play a little better and put him back in. I don't know what that looks like, but I know with that uncertainty, that can be hard to deal with at times as a player, especially on the offensive side, and even as a team, because normally quarterback, that's the leader of the team normally, and so if you don't know who to look to, that can be difficult.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I mean, I guess I could sort of make an argument a bunch of different ways, but you've been in the huddle, and so, how does that affect? Right, so they're splitting reps during the week. So, I mean, the first team offense and the linemen and there's Ashton and Jackson are both in there. They've obviously played with Jackson 7 games, and then they just had a half of football with Ashton. But yeah, I don't know. I sort of get Hugh Freeze saying the greatest motivator is competition. That was the first thing he said Monday, to the reason of not naming a starter. He's like, I want him to go out there and compete. Like, I get that, but I feel like we're past that. I mean, we're in October. We're almost in November. I feel like that's a great fall camp line.
Right.
I mean, it's true. Obviously, competition is a great motivator. Like, that is a true statement. But it's just an odd situation because Jackson's had 7 games to prove himself.
Right.
He's done some good things and he's done some bad things. But the bottom line is, he's last in the league in yards per game. He's last in the league in yards per attempt. He's last in the league in passer rating. I mean, and Hugh Freeze keeps going back to, well, we've had these good starts lately. I mean, okay, but then you've also faded.
Right.
So to me, those are like equal. He keeps referencing the good starts, but then he's like, but then we've also faded. Well, then to me, that's kind of like a wash then. Right. Like, you've done good and you've done bad. Then I just look at the stats and go, you're statistically just not getting it done. And we've lost the games. At the bottom line is you lost the game. So I'm surprised that he didn't name a star. I'm surprised that he didn't just say, Ashton, it's your thing. Because I think there's maybe, you tell me if I'm wrong, I think there's some power if he'd have come out Monday morning or Sunday and said, Ashton, you're going to be the starter. Like, act like it, lead like it, prepare like it, like, get your mind right that you're the starting quarterback for right now. Like, you're taking over for the foreseeable future. I'm not going to like tell you that there couldn't be a situation, but like, you give him some space. Like, I would have given him leash. I said, you're the guy. You're going to have some leash. You've earned it. Jackson's had his opportunity. He's going to be right there ready, but go out there mentally and prepare for it versus you're both getting reps. If you're Ashton, I feel like you're thinking, like, what do I have to do? I did everything you asked me to do. Right. He's had 7 games and I still don't get the chance. I don't know. It's just, I was surprised that he didn't just say, Ashton, you're going to be the guy. I guess maybe he'll tell them Thursday or Friday or something like that. I don't know that it helps you against Kentucky. It's not like it's a mind game. Right. Because he said in the press conference, we're going to run the same stuff. He said that. So I don't think it's much of a mind game. Like, oh, Kentucky's got to prepare for 2 guys. He said they're going to run the same stuff. Right. So I don't know. Like, I get the competition thing, but I, at least internally, would have like said, you're the guy, prepare for it, get ready for it. Offensive line, that's your guy. Like, let him have a little room to be the leader. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just, and maybe he did. Maybe he said, you're the guy, but y'all want to split reps, and just for the facade, so to speak, of making it look like there's something else going on. But you also still have a young center who he played well. Like, he did a good job. We still have to have communication and reps with him. Mm-hmm. So I think it just creates uncertainty that you don't really need at this point in the year. Like, all you need to do is win football games. Yeah. So whatever that means to win a football game, you have to do. In Kentucky, they're down. They're probably not the most confident of teams, but they're always going to be physical. They're going to play hard, just like every other SEC team. And you're right. They're pretty good offense, pretty bad defense. But without 4 turnovers last weekend, we probably don't win the football game. I mean, it's real close. If we
without the
takeaways, it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah.
I mean, all it takes is one Taylor Green run and it's over. So, by no means is this an easy game. I think they have us at minus 11.5. So I thought that was pretty generous, just based on the circumstances. Like, they want to get an SEC win.
Yeah.
And most teams in the SEC at least have 1 win a year, and they probably see this as an opportunity to do that. So you're probably going to get their best, knowing that they have a chance to win this game.
let's say he starts Ashton. Like, I think that's what we think will happen. When we went out Tuesday morning, Ashton was the first quarterback. We only get to watch a small portion. We get to watch some drills, and then they come together and they do a couple of minutes of tempo. First team-O, second team-O. Ashton was the first quarterback out, was with the first team-O. So, like, that should give you a little indication probably of where things stand. And I think Hugh's got to think. He keeps saying, I'm looking for a spark. Well, I mean, Jackson's not the spark. Like, everything would lead me to believe Ashton gets his chance. Like, my bigger question is almost, does he get the leash that Jackson got? Because I go back to last year, talked about this a little bit on the Monday morning takeaways, but when he pulled Peyton and Hank started the New Mexico game, New Mexico's terrible. Then Hank starts the Arkansas game, throws 3 picks in the first half. I think maybe one was not his fault, but whatever. And then he just pulls him. Now the difference is Hank was really young. Ashton's played a bunch of football, so I didn't love that. I thought he panicked pulling Peyton. I thought he never should have pulled Peyton Thornton. I thought that if you really evaluated like the Cal game, not all that was on Peyton. It's funny. Last year I felt like Peyton didn't get any benefit of the doubt, and this year I feel like Jackson's getting all the benefit of the doubt. And that's interesting to me. I felt like I heard a lot more last year, like quarterback play needs to be better. We got to do better. And this year it's like, well, it's everybody. And we've gotten off to good starts, and it's not all Jackson. And Peyton's numbers were far better than I think everybody would literally take Peyton Thorne right now, which is wild. But I feel like there's more leash that's been given to Jackson than Peyton last year. Now, is that because Jackson was like Hugh's guy?
Right.
Like, I know that Hugh needed a little convincing on Peyton. He wanted Jackson. Right. There was a difference in what Hugh thought about those two guys. So I just feel like Jackson's gotten a lot of leash. So if you start Ashton, does he get the same leash? He better. Like, if you start Ashton Daniels, it better be, all right, you're the guy.
Yep.
Go. Don't worry about, don't be like, if I throw a pick, am I going to get pulled? You're the guy. Period. End of story. You almost need to tell him, like, this is your game. It's completely barring. Like, and you could be honest. Like, listen, like, if you go through 4 picks in 3 quarters, man, I might have to do something. Like, let's be real. But barring that, this is your game. Go lead. Go take chances. Go play aggressive. Go play with confidence. That needs to be the message. If this is like, Ashton, you're starting, but Jackson, you be ready. Well, then, like, to me, I'm less confident about the quarterback situation now than I was a week ago going into Arkansas, and I wasn't really confident about it then.
Right.
Now I feel like you have a Jackson Arnold who's been benched. So mentally, where's he at? And then you have Ashton, who is hopefully excited about potentially starting, but is he thinking, well, I barely got the job, and then am I going to be pulled if I don't play well in a half? I hope. I don't know. I don't know what's being said internally, but I don't. That's why Saturday makes me a little nervous, because it's at home. I get all that, but the quarterback situation, I don't know. Ashton needs to start and play really well, and none of this is an issue. But I'm not loving maybe where those guys are at from a confidence standpoint going into this game when your offense is already like lacking confidence and consistency.
Yeah, I agree. I think whoever you go with, they have it. Like, they do not need to, exactly like you said, they do not need to have the Peyton Thorne feeling of, well, he only pulled me for a half. Like, mentally, it's hard to get it in a groove when you only have a certain amount of reps. Like, if you know that you have the whole game and you know that the game is long and it's a process and it might take a second, like, that's okay, but that's part of it. It's not like it's so every drive is its own in a way that if he does bad on this drive, he's not going to do good the rest of the game. Like, that is not how that works. Terrible. So I agree. I think you have – whoever it is, and I would probably say not Jackson. I would probably say Daniels would start. Just, he didn't score a touchdown, but he kept putting up points. He kept drives alive. And so I would start Ashton. I know you paid Jackson a lot of money, and it's your guy. I get that, and you gave him a leash, and he started good, but like we said, he didn't play full 4 quarters. Like, he didn't.
Well, would you have confidence in Jackson if you're a player, like, in your head? You've seen 7 games. It's not personal. You're just like, we're lacking the big playability when he's in there. We're not connecting downfield. It's not clicking. Like, would you be going, listen, I have a job to do. I don't care who starts, or like, I mean, isn't it natural potentially for some offensive guys to go? Like, I saw some of the celebration after the Arkansas game, and it looked like they rallied. It looked like they were having fun with Ashton. Like, after the work, there were guys celebrating with him, and there was some excitement. I would have to think at this point might be a little bit of, if Jackson were to start this game, man, I don't know how you don't have a little bit of like, really, like, okay, coach, like, let's go do it. But boy, this feels like we're going back to the well again, and we've had these shortcomings, and I don't know. Like, you literally are saying you need a spark. Starting Jackson's the opposite of that. There's nothing about starting Jackson that says spark.
Right.
But he says they need a spark.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I also think it is the quarterbacks, and I'm sure there's other little battles on the team still throughout the year and things like that. That makes it real uncertain if you're in a battle with somebody else. Like, just say you're a defensive back and you're battling all year, but then you see the quarterback gets pulled after a half. Well, all you're only thinking about, and this happens so much in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, am I next? Is it next play? Is it next drive? Is it the next game? So if you let it go on, it can become a real problem mentally for the team. And yeah, I think they like Ashton. I'm not sure how great Jackson's leadership was. I don't know. I can't see that really, but he doesn't seem like he's not the most vocal. I know that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And the guys, I'm sure guys like him in the locker room. I'm not saying that. But yeah, I think people respond to that. And okay, you say it's a spark. I mean, that doesn't just come from the quarterback.
Yeah,
like that can come from everybody else as well, making plays, no drop balls. Like I believe with our receivers, there should be no such thing as a 50-50. Like, they should have that confidence to go in knowing that no one can guard me. I should make every single play. Like, Cam Coleman makes plays like that all the time. Well, they need to do that every single game. But I think with a new QB too, if it's Ashton, it almost does elevate everyone else. They're like, all right, we got to help him out, get in a groove. I need to go out and make a play for him. I need to do my job a little bit. Feel like just a little more attentive because you have a new guy and you want him to get in a groove so that you can have success. So that can sometimes be a part of it too. Is like when I played, we put in Holden one game. He didn't do great, but like you know that you have to elevate yourself because they're new to it.
Yeah.
So I know Ashton's played a lot of ball, but he hasn't played here. So sometimes that can elevate other guys as well.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. And it goes back to the spark thing. That's a good point about a new quarterback being in there and kind of maybe rejuvenating the other guys a little bit and knowing that they got to step it up a little bit. I think that's a fair point. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm just I'm a little bit weary of it going in because I don't trust Hugh Freeze. I don't trust him. I mean, why would you trust him on the quarterbacks? And I mean, he hasn't evaluated all that well. The guys they brought in, the quarterback play hasn't been great. Yeah. We did this last year where we bench a guy, then we go back to the starter, and here we are again. And I don't have a ton of confidence in how it's going to be handled. And I'm concerned about starting Ashton and then him feeling like, do I really have the leash, or are you just going to put Jackson in at halftime? If Ashton goes through 2 picks in the first half against Kentucky and it's 7-7 at halftime or something, I'd be terrified that he's going to put Jackson back in. And I just hope that isn't the case, and that you build him up the same way you tried to do with Jackson. But the whole quarterback situation is crazy because you're thinking about next year.
Right.
Daniels and Jackson could both come back depending on how you handle Ashton.
Yeah.
Deuce is kind of not going to play. We sort of know that by now. He's pretty much said he's the future, but he's not now. He's not ready. It's pretty much if you read between the lines. But that's a weird dynamic of I almost feel like in some ways who you play now between Ashton and Jackson is kind of like who you want to come back next year.
Right.
I mean, and you'd think you've seen enough from Jackson to go, I don't know about paying him again to come back. That doesn't make sense to me. But whatever, both of them likely aren't coming back. So I feel like kind of whoever you play right now and whoever you sort of go with at this point, I feel like you're probably saying the other dude, you're probably going to move on next year. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, but let's say Ashton finishes the year. I would argue that if that is the case and they want him to be the guy, Jackson leaves, okay. but then you're pretty much betting on Deuce Knight to be the guy next year probably. Like Ashton is not a flashy pick to be your QB1. He might be a good player, but
yeah.
So if you chose Jackson, well, you're just in the same boat you were this year. You're gonna have Jackson and Deuce probably fighting it out again next year.
A lot of money between those.
A lot of money. They're probably not both staying. Like just the money, it's hard to pay two guys like that. So most teams don't have that. So I hope that's not part of it. Like, hey, we want to go with Deuce next year. Let's go ahead and I hope that's not the case. I hope they're doing it to try and win football games this year and to do the best for the team. But that I'm sure at some point that comes to account. Hey, who do we want next year? Okay, are we betting on Deuce, or do we want Jackson to come back and fight it out and see who wins?
God, I can't imagine. Right now, that seems like such a
long
shot.
It is, but
I think probably right now you're hoping that you can keep Deuce.
Right.
Of course, we don't even know if Hugh Freeze is going to be around, so there's so many variables. But let's just say for now, you're hoping Deuce comes back, and I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, who knows? Maybe Ashton struggles and you put Jackson in and some miracle of something is flipped in him and he just lights it up. I wouldn't bet on that.
Right.
But I guess it's a long shot possibility. But I guess we'll take it one game at a time and we'll see what Kentucky looks like and go from there. That's kind of what Hugh Freeze said. He was asked about whether Ashton would redshirt and does he want him to come back next year? And he was like, listen, it's one, I'm just trying to win Saturday.
Right.
He was pressed on it. It was kind of funny. He's like, but you want him back next year. That would be great, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, but you have 4 games. You got to have a plan right now. But he kind of was just like, listen, it's just one game at a time for now. So that's probably true. So we'll see what happens at quarterback. I like what I saw from Ashton. I mean, is he a world beater? No, nobody ever said he was, but he's a good athlete. He's a good competitor. He's a better runner. I think he's a better runner than I don't want to say Jackson's a really good runner. I thought Ashton eats up yards when he runs. He's got pretty big stride. He's a bigger, more physical guy. So I thought you could run some power runs with him, between the tackles. I thought you could run some stuff where he'd break some tackles. I don't know if he got sacked. I thought there was a couple of times where he escaped out of the pocket, whereas Jackson, he's pretty much gotten sacked. His rushing yards outside of the Baylor game were some designed runs. It's been a little surprising. I thought Jackson would have been better at escaping trouble and picking up yards on the ground, and he really hasn't. He's been sacked so many times. There just hasn't been pressure, and he eludes it, and he's just getting out killing people. That really hasn't happened, which has been a little bit surprising. Ashton at least got out of the pocket a couple times, had a good arm strength to Eric Singleton on the deep ball.
Yep.
But Ashton's got a poise about him. He's got a calmness and a poise about him. So I'd like to see him sort of see what he can do. Cam Coleman is questionable with the ankle. Yeah. You ever had a really, really bad turned ankle and had to play through it?
I've had a bad one, but it still hurts. I mean, it's hard to jump and cut. I know he runs a lot of comebacks and stops. So you could, depending on how bad it is, I mean, they can always give you some meds to numb it a little bit, but depending on how bad, it can be very painful. And if you're playing the long game, we really need him for Vandy, but you can't. I know you're in a week-to-week basis where you have to win these games, especially for Hugh. So, but it can be very painful. It really can.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So, I mean, even if he plays, can't imagine he's 100%. Because I think he's questionable right now. Hugh said on Wednesday that he thought he would play.
Who's his backup?
Well, then you get into
is it Horatio?
Because so you had Cam Eric and sort of Horatio, and then Perry has played more without Horatio. If Cam doesn't go, now you're getting into Sam Turner territory.
That's right.
Malcolm Simmons is also questionable. I'm not sure what his injury was, and we saw him out there. So he's probably – the way Auburn does these injury reports, they're really fair about it. But you'll see guys start out on Wednesday. It's questionable, and then they'll go to probable.
Right.
And then they'll show up as ready to play Saturday. So I would think Cam and Malcolm will play. They're just not going to quite be 100%. But I don't know. I thought Eric Singleton, maybe it's a game where he can step up and get some catches. But you get into if Cam doesn't go, and Horatio's out, it becomes Perry, definitely becomes a big part of it. Maybe Sam Turner gets into the mix as well. If Malcolm's healthy, then it's Malcolm Merrick and probably Perry getting a good bit of the catches. But yeah, it would definitely force Sam Turner in there a little bit. Running back Darrell Robinson could be back Saturday. I don't know if I expect anything. I mean, he hasn't played since I guess Ball State. So even if he's cleared to go, Omar Rapson, I thought did a couple good things in the Arkansas game. So I think Darrell might be cleared, but I'm not sure that it's like he's going to come out and have 7 or 8 carries. I don't think anything like that. Jeremiah Cobb, let's talk about him for a second. 28 carries last week. Hugh Freeze says he's got to get more touches. Everybody's like, no duh. We know that. So we'll see if he gets more carries. 28's a lot for sure. I mean, especially this day and age. They gave it to him a bunch. He doesn't, 28 carries a game, that's probably not going to happen. But I think he's averaging probably 14 a game. I threw out the number 18. 18 sounds like a good number to average the rest of the way for Jeremiah Cobb.
Yeah, I agree. And he runs hard. He kind of does everything. He can catch out of the backfield. I love watching him play. I think he's a great back. But yeah, but he needs help too. Like he can't carry for 4 quarters. You need him fresh in the second half because he can break him at 8 point.
Right.
I mean, he's lightning in a bottle at some points, and it's hard to catch him. So I would like to see Darrell back. I think Madsen, he runs hard. He's not going to blow the top off of it, but he's runs
similar to Damari. Maybe he's like about an inch or 2 shorter. I mean, they're both kind of short, but the well-built.
He can get you those nasty yards at times, and just in the middle ground of those drives. So, but yeah, Cobb he's having a heck of a year. I mean, was he second or third in the league probably behind Hardy?
Behind Hardy, about 200 yards behind.
Yeah, I would feed him. I'd feed him as much as possible, especially if you have Cam out. If you have Malcolm out, like you're kind of boxing yourself into a little bit where you really have to have him have a good game.
Yeah, let's see real quick. I'm curious. Let's see where Kentucky's rush defense. So Kentucky is 9th in the league rushing, 131 yards a game. They're giving up about 3.5 yards per carry. Let's see where that puts them. So they're middle of the pack. Kentucky's middle of the pack. Kentucky's given up 17 rushing touchdowns though, which is tied for the most with Arkansas. So they're middle of the pack in terms of yards in average, but that just probably goes to overall their defense is just not great. And a lot of teams are getting in the red zone.
But if I was game planning us this week, I would take away the run. Like I would just focus on that, knowing the uncertainty with what's going on with the receivers. And I know Cam and those guys are still great players, but after a game like that, I mean, he has their attention. So they're gonna have some plan for getting him out, taking him away in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I would think that this is. You talked about 11.5, 44.5. Feels like this should be similar to Arkansas. Feels like you should enter this very similar. Like average rush defense at best. Overall defense is not great for Kentucky. To me, it should be run the ball as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Cam Coleman's a little banged up, like you said. This should feel like the Arkansas game plan of can we get Cobb 25 carries again. Right. Which to me kind of leads more into playing Ashton because I think he's a little bit more of a physical runner and you can use him, like we said, and maybe some power runs and stuff. But if the game plan's going to be to maybe run the ball a little bit, then maybe you're not asking quite as much. So it's a good opportunity, I would think, to start him because you're not like, dude, we're going to need you to throw 28 passes. That shouldn't happen at all. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting game plan. Defensively, what more can you say about how Auburn's playing? I put up a story this week, and some of the stats, man, like they're one of 4 FBS teams in the country that has not given up more than 24 points.
Another 3 are top 10.
Yeah, that's crazy good. They rush defense. The last 3 games, Auburn has given up at least 110 yards fewer than the other team is averaging rushing per game.
Wow.
Like Missouri came in averaging 235.
Yeah.
Auburn gave up like 70.
Yeah.
Arkansas came in averaging 200 plus yards a game. They had 60. I mean, Texas A&M's the only team to get on Auburn running the football. And they did. They busted some runs. I don't know that it was – I'd have to go back and look. I felt like they busted some runs more than just consistently pounded Auburn. I felt like Marcel Reed had a couple, but their running backs had a couple of big ones and probably tallied dang near half their yards. But that defensive line for Auburn has been the unsung heroes, I think, of the defense, underappreciated. Xavier Atkins is getting a bunch of attention, but that defensive line and the way they've rotated has been awesome. DJ Durkin's been awesome. I think it's like, I mean, the amount of rushing yards they've given up through the first 5 SEC games is the best in 20 years.
Right.
And then I think the amount of total rushing yards they've given up through the first 8 games is the best since 1988.
Wow.
So you got some really impressive stats going defensively. They're not, I think they're top 30-ish nationally in scoring defense and total defense. So we do know they bend a little bit. But some of those rushing numbers and then just not giving up these massive amount of points and stuff has been awfully impressive. They're really good on third down defense and stuff. So they got to keep playing well. I think they will. Kentucky will be a good little test. They throw it around a good bit. But that defense is it's crazy. I hate it. We spend so much time talking about the offense just like struggling that you have another really good defensive effort that we just probably need to make sure we talk about more often. That defense is good. That's a playoff defense, like period, end of story.
Yes.
Like that's a playoff defense. I think they're efficiency-wise the second best defense in the league behind Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, we kept saying throughout the year, we keep saying that, the defense is not going to be able to win us every game. Well, they have not proven that to be true yet. So I'm not saying we would ever bet against the defense to ever have a bad game, but they just keep proving themselves over and over. Yeah. And at some point you're like, okay, they're just legit. Like they are, like you said, the stats with the 25 points. The other ones are Ohio State, Miami, and another Indiana.
Yeah.
So you're that's top what, 6 or 7 in the country?
Yeah, I mean all those teams are probably in the playoff.
So I mean you have a championship caliber defense that has kept you in every single football game, bar none in this year. So
I feel like they should let the offense loose. We've talked about the other side of it, like when does the defense fold because they're watching the offense?
Right.
Like, and I actually asked Bobby Jamison Travis this week. I said, hey, you guys have played so well. How do you sort of react to the offense struggling? He's like, listen, we're a team. We got their back. I don't care if they go out and play poor. Like we're going to go out there and do our job. So he had the right attitude, but the other side of it is like if you're offensively, man, maybe just go like, listen, we got a great defense. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to relax a little bit on offense and like let's be aggressive. Let's take some shots, and I'm going to trust my defense a little bit. You don't have to play perfect on offense. I think there's too much trying to execute everything just perfectly. Maybe I don't know, man. The offense has got to figure out a way to sort of play like the defense, like let it loose a little bit, let it like play with a little swagger a little bit, man. I feel like they do in the beginning of games. I mean, I feel like they come out with a game plan and a script, and they're pretty confident.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like something's like, what do we do? They get to thinking, and the game changes, and all that goes away.
Yeah.
They have a 3 and out, and then it's like, we don't know what we do. They lose their rhythm. And it's just like I don't know. Maybe it's a mental toughness thing.
I think it could be. But that is from Jamison Travis, that's obviously the mindset you want. I think Durkin doesn't allow them to think any other way. I think that's part of why he's so successful like every single week is because he has his guys exactly where they need to be mentally. And it's fun to watch. I mean, he's very active on the sidelines as well, but like he just demands that from his players. And he has great leadership on the defensive side of the ball too.
Yeah.
So that always helps, especially when you have D-line and safeties that are really good leaders. Like it just brings everything together. So they're fun to watch. They really are.
Yeah, they've been fortunate health-wise. Like I was really worried about. It's so funny. Linebacker is one of the positions I was worried about going into the year.
Agreed.
I didn't know what Atkins was going to be.
Right.
Riddick's got shoulder issues. You haven't seen a lot of DeMarcus Riddick this year. He's got a banged-up shoulder. He's hurt. And then you had Elijah Melendez, who's been really good as a true freshman. We kind of thought through camp like he was kind of progressing that way, but still freshman, you don't know. Robert Woodyard was like, man, you've been here for years. Right. When are you gonna? And it's worked out. Atkins has been amazing. Robert Woodyard has stepped up. Melendez has stepped up and been what we thought he'd be, and they've stayed fairly healthy, other than Riddick being a little banged up. So that's been huge. Yeah. And a lot of those issues from Baylor game are just gone. Like they've tackled much better. They're not just getting shredded in the air. Although Baylor, by the way, for anybody that's paying attention, like they're shredding everybody. So now you look back at that game, I think Baylor might be, what are they nationally? National, I mean, they're 5th in the country in passing. They're averaging 318 yards a game.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, they're shredding teams. They've thrown 23 touchdowns. So now you look back at that game and you think about Auburn's defense and you're like, didn't tackle great. There's no excuse for the tackling, but they're kind of shredding everybody through the air. So like, it is what it is. All right, Auburn, Kentucky. How do you see this playing out? Any strong convictions, or is it kind of like last week where you're thinking, I'm not exactly sure?
Yeah, no, I think Auburn wins. I feel much more confident about Auburn winning this week than I did last week. That might be because they finally won an SEC game, but I feel like with Kentucky the last few weeks, like it's just been brutal. Like they can't stop anybody. They just can't seem to find a win.
Yeah.
I think he will get their best, but I think Auburn's going to win. I think the fan base, I think it'll be pretty good. I don't think it'll be a no-show for us. And it is a night game, and I know we're used to those. But you can't take those for granted as an SEC team. So I think Auburn wins. I think 11.5. I think they win by 10. I would say, I don't know, 34-24, something like that. Just kind of I could see us starting slow if Ashton is in there. But I think he's consistent enough to where you're going to have points in both halves. I don't think it's going to be we have to score everything in the first half because we're not going to score in the second half. But I also think defense, you have to have a turnover or two. It really gives the offense confidence when you do that. It gives them an advantage, obviously, and I could see that working out.
Yeah. I was sitting here looking at Kentucky's defense again. In conference, they're about the same. They're middle of the pack. They're not bad. Like Ole Miss got them for 220 yards. Ole Miss ran the ball 48 times because Chambliss runs the ball too. So they,
Right.
But like this thing about Kentucky, man, it's sort of. I mean, they're similar to Auburn. You look here and you go, Ole Miss 30-23. Remember that game? That was closer than we all thought it would be.
It's always a rivalry.
At South Carolina, they didn't. I didn't watch that game, but clearly they didn't play well. They lost 35-13. They go to Georgia, 35-14, but like for a first half, it was more competitive than you thought. And then they come over, they play Texas at home, 16-13, Tennessee at home. They give up 56, but they score 34. I mean, they're not atrocious. Kentucky's not atrocious. They're not a great team. But like some of the rush defense numbers are not terrible. I mean, they held Texas to 47 yards on 28 carries. And Tennessee ran for 108 yards on 33 carries. That's not bad. 180 to Georgia, 180 to South Carolina. Ole Miss is really the only team that got them.
Right.
Pretty good. Tennessee racked up 4 rushing touchdowns, and Georgia racked up 4 rushing touchdowns, even though they didn't necessarily shred them on the ground. So I don't know. I'm looking at that going, Kentucky's rush defense is middle of the pack, but they're looking at that. They're not Arkansas. Arkansas was terrible.
Right.
So, I don't know that Auburn's just going to come in and run for 250. I don't know that that's going to happen. So, I mean, whoever the quarterback is going to have to make some plays. I don't know. The quarterback situation doesn't make me feel great right now with Auburn because I don't know what he's doing and I don't know how he's going to handle it. You're coming home, yes. Colder weather game. I've been to plenty of Auburn games in this situation. Is it going to be a great crowd? Yes. Can I see maybe the colder weather? People are sitting on their hands. Absolutely, I can see that. I've witnessed it. This makes me think of, for anybody that went to the 2009 Kentucky game. So if you remember 2009, Auburn was 7-5 that year. Played Kentucky at home. Kentucky was, I don't know what they finished. Kentucky's probably better than now, but they weren't great or anything. Cold night. Auburn was the favorite, and they come in there, and it was just a dud of a game. The fans just sat on their hands, and Auburn lost 21-14. Just a ridiculous atmosphere, just a terrible atmosphere, terrible game. And I don't know. I mean, I think Auburn's going to have to come out and I think play well. Like I could see this being a sort of ho-hum, sort of sloppy game.
Right.
I could see the crowd kind of being in. If the quarterbacks don't come out and play really well, if it's Ashton and it's like it's okay. I mean, nothing about the offense at Arkansas, you didn't solve anything.
Right.
You won the game. Nothing about that is like, oh, they figured something out.
Right.
Like maybe you start Ashton and he just explodes. Maybe he comes in there, runs some zone read and pulls it and busts a couple of 50-yarders, and you're like, dude, maybe some of that happens. But they got to play well. I mean, Kentucky's winless. I get it, but the last 2 weeks, Kentucky's shown that they can be competitive. So if you think Auburn is just, they're back at home, toss the ball out there, they'll win by 2 touchdowns, I don't see that. Auburn needs to play really well. So I would go, picking Auburn to cover is like, I mean, why would you even do that? You'd like to think Auburn gets to 31 at home. You'd like to think they get there, and I would like to think that Auburn's defense doesn't give up more than 20 or 21, even though Kentucky's offense has shown a little bit of ability. So I'm probably leaning 31-20 Auburn, something like that. Could maybe go 34-20 Auburn. Could go 28-20 Auburn, something like that. I don't know. Could Auburn hold Kentucky to 10 or 13? I don't know. It's probably possible. So I don't know. I'm leaning. I think they can cover, but I don't think this is an easy game by any means at all. I think they need to come out, play well again, and get 2-0. I think you want to walk away from this game with a win, yes, but then you just got to walk away with something solidified at quarterback.
Right.
Like you cannot. I thought we did at Arkansas. I was surprised he was like, we'll see. You win the game and come away going, I know what our quarterback plan is for the rest of the season.
Right.
To me. Like, come away and go, all right, then Ashton did his job again. That's the deal. He's the guy the rest of the way, minus whatever Mercer, whatever that situation is. I don't want to walk away and go, we won, but Ashton was just kind of okay. He wasn't great. So we'll just do another week of competition, and whoever's the best guy gets to start. Please tell me we're not going to do that anymore. So I don't know. Those are my 2 hopes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Should be a good one. Should be a fun one. We'll see. SEC Network 6:30. Just get 2 in a row. Just get 2 in a row. Make 1, 2, and then go to Vanderbilt with a little bit of confidence that you can go in there and win. You lose to Kentucky, first of all. You lose to Kentucky, we might be back to having the Hugh Freeze conversation Sunday. Like you can't lose this game. But I can't imagine them losing this game and then going to Vanderbilt and winning.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. You lose this game and it might be a tipping point for the team. You're also that puts you at 5. You also lose this game, and a bowl game is now
tough.
You're against the odds there.
Right.
So that's where we're at. You literally have to win this if you even want to go to a bowl. You lose this, and we're potentially staring at another season without a bowl game. Right. So it's a big one in that regards. All right, we'll see you guys 6:30 Saturday night. Appreciate everybody joining us. Go to auburnsports.com and subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. For John Samuel Shenker, I'm Justin Hokanson. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.